A new documentary looks at one of the most influential and least understood first ladies, Lady Bird Johnson. The Lady Bird Diaries features 123 hours of personal and revealing diaries Lady Bird Johnson began recording after John F. Kennedy's assassination and continued through her husband's administration. Award-winning filmmaker Dawn Porter is behind the documentary, which premieres today on Hulu. She joins us now live. Welcome, Dawn. Thank you so much for joining us here on KVUE News Midday in Austin, Texas. How are you?
Hello, Austin. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And Dawn, how does your documentary shine a new light on the former First Lady?
You know, Lady Bird is very well known, and she's probably more well known to your audience in Austin because, of course, she's a very proud UT graduate and a proud Texan. But for most of the country, she's really famous for planting wildflowers. She's known, you know, for beautification. But she did so much more during her time in the White House and afterwards. So, for example, Lady Bird is the first lady to require that her staff be paid. She hired a group of very strong women to be in her staff. She campaigned for LBJ. She's the first woman to actually go out on a campaign trail by herself for a presidential election. She did so many things. 300 bills were signed by Johnson to protect the environment, and those stem from Lady Bird's work. She actually, Richard Nixon, when he established the EPA, invited Lady Bird and said he was influenced by all of her work to protect the environment. She was just a remarkable First Lady.
And made many contributions, and you just gave us a few examples. Dawn, how incredible that you had access to 123 hours of audio recordings from Lady Bird Johnson herself. What are some of the moments that stood out most to you?
You know, the tapes really reveal the personal side of, you know, what it's like to be in public office and what it was like in the White House during one of the most tumultuous times in American history. But some of the things that were really revealing, where she speaks very explicitly about President Johnson's debilitating depression. In fact, Johnson thought about retiring, about stepping down from the presidency multiple times. In one really notable time, Lady Bird actually wrote out his resignation speech.
Wow.
And he was giving a public address to the nation, and he had that speech in his pocket. And so as he's giving the speech, she recounts, is he going to reach into his pocket? Is he going to do it or not? And you can see in the footage, when you look at the footage of him giving the speech, you can see him pause, hesitate. And we don't know, only she knows that maybe the President of the United States is about to resign. So there are some really evocative and important moments that we now have an understanding of and access to because of her decision to release her audio tapes.
Yes, certainly eye-opening. So if you're interested, the Lady Bird Diaries premieres today on Hulu. Dawn Porter, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Sure.